Well, here we have a couple of kosher, right? Put the Star David on these. I think that looks really cool. On the AR-15 lowers. This is stainless steel. It's a gold stainless steel star. You see that really close up? And it's never going to rust. It's stainless steel and silver on the outside. I was going to do blue, but I think the gold looks better with this kind of green color that's painted on the bottom half of the weapon. And you know, I've been reading, you know, since Trump got in office, there's been a, you know, Mr. and Mrs. YouTube, don't get all bent out of shape for me saying this, but there's some elements of Muslim extremists that are out to do some problems in the United States. And I always thought, you know, I think the Jewish people ought to be armed, especially in light of what's going on. There's a lot of anti-Semitism going on in the United States, also in Europe. And I know the YouTube crowd is kind of brainwashed into a lot of different things about what happened in the 30s and 40s, and they don't believe this and they don't believe that. But, you know, I can tell you that I think the United States government, by and large, has been against Jewish people for the most part, if you look at what the cooperation was with Operation Paperclip after World War II. Now, I know there's an organization out there called the JDL, the Jewish Defense League, and they got labeled by the FBI as a terrorist organization. I don't know why. You know, I know there could be some flaws to it, but it's from everything I've seen, what Irv Rubin said, and Rabbi Kahane. I don't know. I mean, I don't see where the hell it's a terrorist organization, but it's just like everything. And I think part of it is the logo. You know, it's got the fist. It's got the fist, which is supposed to mean defense. But now, I'm not Jewish, so don't be offended if I took a religious symbol here and I screwed it up or something. But I mean, they did put the fist inside of it. I would think like this: if you had the JDL, a new JDL logo, you put the Star David with the mouse, with the finger, because actually, when you think about the Jewish people, here's Goldie the cat. By the way, that's my Goldie. The Jewish people are a minority. They've always been like the mouse fighting against the big cats, right? Not the little cats like this guy, but I mean the big cats, you know? And it's sort of like, there they are, standing on the ground, you know? So, I mean, that might be a little, I don't, you know, if the public sees that, you know, with the fist, even though it's supposed to mean defense, maybe, you know, it's got it automatically in your head that it means something else. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but it might be. But, you know, me as an outsider, I don't want to say too much because, you know, that's why I'm not going to go Jewish, because, man, I get a lot of trouble, man, because what is this guy freaking trying to do here? Anyway, but I think this is cool. This is really cool. I think a lot more Jews ought to get into weaponry and things for self-defense. Jews are very polite, reasonable people, educated, not prone to violence, use a lot of logic, have a code of ethics, and abide by them better than most people. I think they abide by their code of ethics better than most Christians, by far, my opinion only. But, you know, if you get into the sport, let's call it a sport, even though it's not really a sport, it's about defending yourself and survival as a people. But if you just take it in a way where you don't get that Hollywood movie cliche in your head about, you know, what they do and what Sylvester Stallone does or something, and, you know, you pretty up your weapon like this. You put that, something, emblems on that like that. I think that is really awesome. In truth, I put that on there with, I chemically cleaned it really good. And then I used a little bit of very fine sandpaper on the back of these. These are like $2 or $3 each. They're for necklaces, right? I had to look for something that was the right size. I think there's about 1 inch across. Stainless steel, so they'll never rust. And very lightly sanded them on the other side, chemically cleaned them, and then I used 3M panel adhesive, part number 08115, which is used for gluing on quarter panels and rocker panels on cars. So this stuff should really be on there better than an epoxy. So, and I guess you could actually machine into here a few thousandths of an inch and then place it in there, and then it would really be in there if you really used a special adhesive and it's fit in there like precision. That would even be better. But it does look very nice. It does look very nice. But that's one thing I think that's a caveat of people that get, people that are polite and professional. They don't want to bother with guns because guns mean violence and whatever the hell that means. But maybe you got to think of it more like this. I mean, I don't know if you're desecrating a religious symbol here. I don't think I am, but I'm not intending to. But it's almost like Jewish people are a minority. It's almost like they're the mouse. They're in a world of cats, big cats, not little cats like Goldie. And it's like you got to stand up and say, "Rrr," you know what I mean? And you got to have the means to do it. So, of any people that I consider should be armed more than anybody, it's Jewish people. So, I just want to kind of put this out here. If you want to really make it kosher, you have it blessed by a rabbi. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that because probably rabbis say, "What the hell are you doing over here, you damn yo-yo?" Anyway, but I don't know what the guy would say. But maybe if he'd do it, I would go for it. I say, what the hell? But I think that really looks nice. It looks very, very nice. I mean, look at that. Right? See your reflection on there? Well, it doesn't make it very tactical because you might be saying, there's a silver reflection and a gold reflection, but it's not that obvious, It's not that obvious. It's not very tactical, If somebody shines a light, they'll see a little mirror reflection, but yeah, still, I think it would help encourage the use of weapons by Jews as just get familiar with them, sort of like golf clubs and that type of stuff, because it's a world of big cats, and Jews being a small minority, they need to. I know how to YouTube. It's like when I say these things, it's like it gets like a mixed reaction. There's some people that don't like it, some people like it, but just telling you what the deal is, and I don't know. I personally am Catholic, even though I think the the last Pope was a load of it. But, the message of Fatima keeps me wanting to stay Catholic, but, I realize that the Jews have a special mission for the goodness of mankind, to be leaders in the world. And it's not because I see it in the Bible, but I realize that's what's been going on in history, throughout history, just pure logic, and Jews need to defend themselves. And, possibly, I don't know if that would be a great idea, but that might be, if you look at the public, when they look at the JDL symbol with the fist, even though it meant defense, they saw the fist, it meant like, aggression, violence, the fist gives that annotation, so maybe the JDL might want to adopt something. I don't know, it's just an idea, I don't know. I ain't charging this deal because I'm an outside guy, but to me it's pretty novel. It's pretty novel because for every all these other groups, there's like gazillion people. Of Jews, there's not many Jews. It's almost like the mouse that's standing up to all the big guys, and you take the last stand and you go, and you got the means to do it. So just something a little bit different I want to put out because I tend to think outside the box, and I think what's coming up, I don't know, there could be some serious tumultuous times, and Jews need to defend themselves, not worry about it, but just kind of be familiar with the stuff, not take it too like you're always out there in the field snooping and pooping. But if you just go to the range once in a while, you got your weapon, you got it decorated with nice things that you like, and you just familiarize with itself. When the time comes to defend yourself, that familiarization will give you a marked edge, because sometimes you almost get superhuman powers when you got unjust elements going against you, but you got to have the means to beyond what's being imparted into your body with almost like superhuman powers and strengths and confidence, but you got the means to do it, and you got to learn how to do this. You just can't, it just doesn't come about overnight in 2 seconds. You got to actually be familiar with it, but not to get familiar with it like the movies in Hollywood and Sylvester Stallone and violence. More like just to understand it and abide by the code of honor. And maybe I still kind of like this idea, but it's just me. I don't know. I'm just kind of floating it. That would be not be a. To me, this would be a better public image on a JDL or something along these lines. I mean, it's a cartoon character, you know, but it's almost like, you know, hey, we're standing up against the odds, you know. That's really what the mouse with the finger means, right? So if you're really talking about defense, that's defense. You're going against overwhelming odds. So that might be a decent idea, to tell you the truth, for a public image.